Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing and the continuing action of the Final Fantasy Fracas. Today we're in round 3. Here's the drivers that have already advanced to round 4 and been eliminated, with Joe C holding on to that temporary wildcard spot. And we've got 3 more team action groups, and first up is Arlo Racing here in the round of death for Group 3. And it's Harbor Town Dairy driving Nerf or Nothing, his Nitro Foam. A very unique casting, I guess I would call it. And then next up is Team Patron Arlo himself driving Beyond the Aquila Rift, a semi-psycho. He comes in with the highest cumulative points today. Arlo of Rivia also hits the track in his Muscle and Blown called the Witcher. And lastly, it's Rumble in Soundwave, a bass line that Arlo seems to like. Alright, here we go. It's Harbor Town Dairy, Arlo of Rivia, and Rumble to start lap 1. And Arlo jumps out to an early lead with Rumble close behind. The entire group staying pretty close. Harbor Town and Rumble challenging. Arlo spins, but Arlo takes lap 1, followed by Rumble. They come around that final turn, and Arlo gets loose. Rumble gets loose as well, but no change in the running order. Today's favorite, Arlo, with that semi-psycho, brings in the first lap victory. Ooh, Harbor Town Dairy with a great start. He's going to whip around turn 2 and come out with the lead, but Arlo of Rivia is challenging. Harbor Town holds on to the lead. He puts some separation between them and takes lap 2. Taking a look at the replay, Harbor Town was leading. Arlo was going to pass on the outside, but Dairy throws a great block. And then Rivia has to hold off Rumble in the S's. And despite all that beating and banging, everyone finishes the lap. And after 2, Harbor Town Dairy assumes a 1-point lead over the rest of the group, only separated by 2 from top to bottom. Rumble now on the pole, gets a good push from Arlo. Rumble's going to pull well ahead of the group. He goes around the outside inside of turn 2, and he's just taken off. Arlo kept closing. Arlo gives him a tap. They come to the final line, and it's Rumble. Ooh. Some post-finish line collisions there. Arlo looking for a way around, couldn't find it. Spins out. Ooh. Grinds the wall and takes second, and then gets smacked by Rivia and Harbor Town Dairy. Well, after 3, we have our third leader of the day. It's Rumble with 9. And here's the final lap. Arlo himself on the pole, Rumble on the outside. Rumble not quite able to take advantage of that downhill. Wait, no, Rumble steals the lead from Arlo. They're through Echo Base and through the S's. Arlo challenging. They come to the line, and Rumble takes lap 4. Harbor Town Dairy slides across on his back. Arlo is 3rd, and Arlo of Rivia 4th. That semi-psycho just looks awesome, and it's fast. But man, Rumble and his baseline are just a little bit faster, and he's pretty heavy for such a small vehicle too. Ooh, Arlo gets smacked by Dairy. Dairy manages to still finish. And there it is. Rumble takes the group with 13 points in a strong second half. And we've got a tie for second place. So Arlo and Harbor Town Dairy will go to a duck-off because we don't know. One of them might have enough points to take over the wildcard spot from Joe C. Arlo leading the first run. Dairy's closing. They come to the line, and it's Arlo. They swap lanes. Arlo with the advantage. Harbor Town Dairy has to win this lap to stay alive. But Arlo's gonna smoke him in turn 2, and this one is probably over. Harbor Town staying with him. Challenges in the square. They come to the final straight, and Arlo slides across in front, and he does it. He takes over the wild card spot with an impressive total of 38 points. That's going to be tough to beat. We move on to Group 5, and it's Filipiak Performance Diecast. First up is Jack Crow in black number 5, his maximum leeway. In a very popular casting this year, a lethal diesel, it's Brutal. Not too many of these left in the tournament, which is surprising because they were all really strong. Third up is Deuce in a street shaker called Too Sinister. He comes in today with a low of 16 points across all 3 groups. And lastly, it's Thomas in the last of the speed bumps called Keep Bumpin'. Alright, it's Jack, Brutal, Deuce, and Thomas. Jack and Deuce with the initial lead. Is Brutal going to be able to pass him? No! Jack leads Deuce through Echo Base. Brutal right on their heels. Deuce continues to challenge, and it's Jack, Deuce, Brutal, and Thomas. And ludicrous speed, go! And that's not sped up, that's just normal speed. Yikes. So when I was recording these 3 groups, normally I write down the finishing order. Because the colors were also similar and the cars were so fast, I just had to film it and figure it out later. Deuce leads again on lap 2, followed by Thomas, but well behind. He comes down. Oh, he spins, but he holds on. Thomas is second. I think Jack Crow was third, and Brutal was fourth. Thomas now leads on the inside. Brutal following him around, but here comes Deuce. Deuce is easily going to make the pass in turn 2. They're down Hoth through Echo Base. Thomas is again chasing Deuce. Deuce could probably lock this group up here. He takes the 3rd lap. Thomas with a good start. But despite coming in with the lowest points in the tournament for the 3 groups today, Deuce is doing surprisingly well, and he's going to take a 3-point lead into the final lap over Jack Crow. Already eliminated Brutal assumes the pole for the final lap. Brutal does have a good start this time, and he comes out in front. Thomas again in second as, Deuce and Jack have trouble. I think Jack is off the track in Echo Base. Brutal's gonna win, followed by Thomas. And Deuce is on his roof in the Savage Square. That could have huge implications. There's Jack. We'll try and take a look and see what happened. Brutal got a pretty decent start. Comes out of turn 2 with the lead. And looking in the back, Deuce nearly drives off the track, and Jack gets caught up and stalls out. And then we don't quite know what happened to Deuce, but Deuce wins the group despite a lap 4 DNF. He edges out Thomas by a single point, and it looks like Thomas is the wild carder from that group, but 33 points is not going to be enough to overtake Arlo. And now the 3rd and final group of the day, it's Rust Belt Diecast Racing. First up, it's my favorite driver in the tournament, Scroats McGoats, driving Ribbed, a Skull Crusher. Next up, it's MG Andretti in Everything's Under Control, a Turbulence. Also in a blue vehicle, it's Bay City Daryl in a nerve hammer called Jacked Up. And lastly, Tommy's in the final remaining locomotor in the tournament called Night Train 2. That rust may actually be real at this point. It's been here for like 2 years. Alright, Scroats, Andretti, Daryl, and Tommy. Scroats leads through turn 2. But Bay City Daryl is challenging. He drops back a little bit. Here he comes. They round the final turn. It's just the two of them, and Scroats McGoats takes lap 1, followed by Bay City Daryl. And MG Andretti has come off the track. Looks like Tommy is stuck behind him. Taking a closer look at the back pair. There's MG. Oh, he hops the wall, and then Tommy Toots unfortunately gets hung up behind him. So we've got a double DNF to open the group. And Scroats McGoats leads after 1. Ooh, Bay City Daryl with a hot start out of the gate. Tommy Toots is chasing. Those two are going to come out 1 and 2 through turn 2. And Bay City Daryl is taken off. The rest of the pack well behind. They're not going to be able to challenge. Bay City Daryl takes lap 2. Then it's Tommy, Scroats McGoats, and MG Andretti. After 2, Bay City Daryl with the lead, 1 point over Scroats McGoats. Tommy Toots takes the pole for lap 3. MG Andretti behind. And here comes Bay City Daryl. I think he's going to do it, and he makes the pass in turn 2. He whips through Echo Base. Tommy Toots is again chasing, and they're not going to catch him. Oh, Tommy Toots wrecks on the final straight, saved by those signs. But Bay City Daryl's running away with this group. He really took advantage of that crossover downhill going into turn 2. And then never looks back. Tommy Toots grinds the wall and gets caught on a seam and wipes out. That's going to be it for Tommy. 2 DNFs, you can't recover from that. Bay City Daryl with a 3-point lead over Scroats McGoats going to the final lap. It's just a 2-car race now. The start of lap 4 a little closer. And MG Andretti leads for the first time today. Tommy Toots again chasing in second place. Bay City Daryl trying to challenge, but he spins around. It's MG, Tommy, and there's Daryl, and Scroats McGoats rolls in for 4th, and I think that's going to do it. A much tighter battle for the lead through turn 2, but Andretti is able to hold on to it, and despite being eliminated, he gets some honor by taking lap 4. And Bay City Daryl wins with 13. And the wild card for this group is Scroats McGoats, and no, 27 points is not going to do it. So Arlo takes over the wild card spot, and we'll see how long he can hold on to it. 3 more teams advance a driver to round 4. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check in next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 3 action of the Final Fantasy Fracas.